Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to this week's weekly outlook on NASDAQ and SP500, that is US100 and US500. Those are the main assets that I deal with on this channel. as well as in my trading. So let's cover that today. I was on a break last week. I did not take part in trading or checking what the markets are doing actively. I only checked to see the progress of the setup that I had shared in towards the end of September. So that was the only thing that I was interested in. Other than that, I did not trade. I I needed to take a break and I did that last week. So this week I am fully back with daily outlooks, weekly outlooks, trade breakdowns, and so forth. So welcome back. Let's do it. I have shared the link to my Telegram group as I am going to be sharing all of my setups in the Telegram channel. There will be signals given with take profits and stop losses, as well as why the reason for the trade. So if you're interested, use the links that I have shared on my platforms. I will also put it in the description of this video, so you can join the Telegram. It's free. So looking at the weekly chart on US100 and US500, we noticed that last week was a bullish week, and the bullish week was characterized of we had different characteristics on US100 and US500. So if it's not clear enough, you can see that I am marking this is the week, the last week of September. So you can notice that on US500, price was able to close above that range. Price was able to close above the previous week's range, while on US100, we have a slight difference where price was unable to close above that previous week's range. So that is very important to notice. However, I am still very bullish, even though this would suggest that price wants to go lower. I am still very bullish on both assets, especially SP500 because of this close above. So looking further into this chart, you will notice that we had a new week opening gap right here. So during yesterday's open, Monday's open, we had that NWOG. We have an NWOG, which is also present on SP500. So what I want to see is price respecting this new week opening gap. I want to see it being used to anchor higher prices throughout the week, as I am expecting a very bullish week this week. That is even before we look at the fundamentals. I am expecting a bullish week looking at the technicals. So other than that, I think that is all I need to mark on the weekly chart. I have marked that new week opening gap, and I want to delete that those levels that I had marked, this close above and the close below. So as I have mentioned, as I had mentioned before in the other videos, we had this retracement week and then price has continued to rally higher. So I want to see a continuation of that until maybe something economic or something of that sort changes. But for now, I'm still very bullish on both assets. So let's go down to the daily chart where we will look at more levels that I want to see being respected throughout this week. So when I go down to the daily chart, what I noticed is that we have a very interesting fair value gap, bullish fair value gap on NASDAQ US100. So we have this fair value gap that formed on the 1st of October. So between those three candles, we have a fair value gap. The 30th September, 1st October, and 2nd October, we formed a very crucial fair value gap right there. So we have that fair value gap. That's a daily fair value gap, a bullish daily fair value gap. We'll mark it as DFVG. Okay. So having that marked out, I went to US 500, which is SP500, and we did not have that. The fair value gap is not present in this pair. So in this asset on US 500, price delivered efficiently and it did not leave any value gap. So we will be observing that level on US 100, that is NASDAQ. So apart from that, you know that I usually divide my chart into ranges. So you will notice that I have drawn that gun box from last week's low. So last week's low was formed on Wednesday, 1st of October 2025, and the low is an important low because it actually swept some form of liquidity in form of the previous day low and the two previous days lows. They were swept and then price rallied higher and closed above that. So that is a very bullish price action right there. So I will mark that low, this low, this low right here, and this current high. That will be my dealing range. So that is my dealing range. This is the dealing range that we are in this week. These are the levels that I want to see being respected. I will explain more. So look at where the daily fair value gap formed. It formed at the equilibrium of the dealing range, our current dealing range. So this week, as I expect prices to go higher, I expect some form of sell side liquidity to be swept, or every time, as I have been mentioning in all my videos, I expect that before price rallies higher, I always want to see price come lower, rebalance maybe some fair value gaps, and then I want to see price rally higher. So this week I want to see the same. I want to see price come lower, probably to these levels, the 0.5 levels, or the new week opening gap. I can anticipate price to retest that before it rallies higher. So I will be waiting for such a move, even if it's tomorrow or on Thursday. I just expect to see some form of manipulation lower before we go higher, and I will talk about that, the the days that are highly likely to receive that manipulation, because we have a lot of high impact news this week. But let us finish with the technicals first. So I will also do the same on this other asset. I will mark the dealing range. I usually do not keep this on my charts because it becomes a distraction. So this is just for the purposes of this video. I will delete it and only leave the NWOGs and the daily fair value gap on the chart. So the same thing on the same dealing range DRT on US 500, last week's low and the current high. That is my dealing range. I expect to see maybe price retest the 0.5 level, which is the equilibrium of this dealing range, before we pursue higher. So apart from that, if we will not get that retracement lower today, I will go down to the lower time frames where I will show you something very interesting. So I believe you have marked those levels, so I will just delete this. It is also important to note that we have this fair value gap right here. It is that daily fair value gap, but on a lower time frame. This is what it looks like. So you can have that marked out instead of the daily fair value gap, but I prefer the daily fair value gap because it is even higher. It transposes the level better. So I will not be marking it. You can see that the new week opening gap is even clearer on a 4-hour time frame. It is right here. So it is from this candle on Friday at 2 p.m. and then we have Sunday 6 p.m. New York time. So I really do expect to see price retest this gap, and then maybe we can go higher. So what I wanted to show you is that we already have this change in state right here. We can see that price had retraced lower, rebalanced the daily fair value gap very efficiently, and then price then left that price action as soon as Monday open. And then as soon as we closed above this last down close candle, this is a change in state, so we can label it as a 4-hour change in state of delivery. So we already have a bullish change in state of delivery right there, 4-hour CSD. So, and then after that we have another retracement leg, which is represented by these two candles. That was Monday's price action, which is yesterday. So we currently have these two down close candles. So in the case that we are done with retracing lower, if I am to take any entries today, I want to see another change in state of delivery, a bullish change in state of delivery confirmed on this level, which is the 25039.6. I want to see price rally and form another change in state. So for now, that is just a LDC. That is what I refer to as last down close candle. That is the last set of last down close candle. So today, if we are going to get that rally higher, and if I want to participate, which I will be participating if it delivers what I want, if it gives me a reason to, I want to see a change in state occur on this level, because this is my last set of down close candle, which is a retracement leg. So this being the retracement leg, I want to see price break out of the retracement leg, and then I can take an entry on that level and target higher. My targets will probably be set using Fibonacci, which I will mark from this high to this low and then extend the levels upwards. But that will be explained better if it actually plays out. So for now, that is it. So for my weekly outlook, those are the levels: the NWOG, the daily fair value gap, and on an intraday perspective, I want to see price trade into this last down close candle, get a close above, maybe on a 1-hour or 4-hour level, and then when I get that, I can now take a long entry with my stop loss placed below the current daily low, which formed at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is a very good time for the daily low to be formed, because it is during the London kill zone. So let me delete this so that you can see if we have the same levels on. So you will notice that we have not had that confirmed change in state of delivery on NASDAQ, on SP500. Instead, we have relative equal highs, so which is a quite good drawn liquidity, but then it's closer than I think. So same as on US100, this is where I expect another confirmed change in state of delivery, where I want to get in and trade higher. We also have this 4-hour fair value gap. We noticed that we did not have the daily fair value gap, but you can see that we have a 4-hour fair value gap. So that is another important level to observe throughout the week as we anticipate higher prices. These are the levels that I want to see support price. If they are invalidated, then my bullish bias is also invalidated. So I think that's it. We have this change in state. So all I'm waiting for today is maybe another change in state of here. Then maybe I can ride the move for like 100 or 150 handles to the upside. So yes, I think that is all for today. I'll So let us, okay, I wanted to end the video, but I've remembered I have not covered the fundamentals. So looking at the fundamentals, let me just share that screen. Looking at the fundamentals. Okay, so looking at the fundamentals, we have FOMC. So today, on Tuesday, October 7th, we do not have any high impact or medium impact news. And then tomorrow we have FOMC, which is usually later in the day in form of New York time. So that is not a worry. We can still trade anytime before the FOMC. As I always say, news is chaos, so make sure you only trade after or way earlier or way before. So today is a clear day for trading. Tomorrow we have FOMC, New York PM session. So I will not be participating in FOMC trading. So I will only trade in the New York AM session and close all of my positions 30 or 1 hour before the FOMC. And then on Thursday we have unemployment claims, Fed Chair Powell speaks, which will be 3:30 p.m. So that should be also be a good day for trading. So, and then on Friday we have the same. We have NFP, we have prelim consumer. So like I've always said, I really do not. It doesn't matter what the news says or whatever, because news is just chaos, and you just need to know what time the release is so you can plan your trading schedule around that. So for example, on FOMC you trade before, so you will trade the New York AM session, and then on a day such as Friday we can only trade after the 10 a.m. news release. So yes, and then I also read somewhere that the NFP might be were postponed to October 10th, so we will be I will be very alert for that in case it comes. So I will communicate on my channels how to navigate through that. So yes, that is all for my technical analysis on US100 and US500, and also my fundamental analysis. So I'll see you throughout the week. If you haven't joined my channel, I'm adding that link right now on my description of this video, so you can just tap the link and join. Let's make some money together. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Be blessed. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in.